Dear students, I, Sunita Tripathi, am an assistant professor at the Jindal Global Law School, where I teach courses related to intellectual property law. Today we are going to discuss the module on the subject matter requirement in copyright law. The aim of this module is to familiarize you with what constitutes copyrightable subject matter as well as what is excluded from copyright protection. At the end of the course, you will be able to examine the fundamental concepts pertaining to copyrightable subject matter as well as identify the contradictions and tensions between protection and creation of copyrightable subject matter. Finally, it is expected that you will be able to conduct case law analysis and identify and understand legal principles which support what constitutes a valid copyright subject matter. Let's begin with the fundamentals firstly. The term of protection afforded to any copyrightable subject matter is not an infinite number of years. Copyright is not a perpetual right. It exists for a specific term, and after the expiry of such term, the work which is actually the copyrightable subject matter falls back into public domain. And this work is essentially protected in India for the term of 60 years from the death of the author. And for photographs, cinematographic films and sound recordings, it's 60 years from the beginning of the calendar year to the next following year in which it was published or released. So essentially, it is a limited monopoly right which is exclusively granted to the proprietor of this subject matter. So the prerequisites for qualifying the subject matter are essentially threefold, and Section 13A of the Indian Copyright Law provides such prerequisite. It describes that the Indian Copyright Act provides only original literary, dramatic, musical and artistic work the affordability and protection of copyright. Thus, not all works enjoy copyright protection. Any literary, dramatic, musical or artistic work has to be A, original, and B, needs to be fixed or expressed in a tangible medium to be afforded any protection. In that sense, let's understand what is the basic concept of originality. Originality as such need not be attributed to becoming a novel idea. It is essentially an expression of thought or work which originates from the author. So originality goes back to the source of where that expression came from, that is the author. In the famous case of the University of London Press versus University Tutorial Press, the commercial law dispute matter, it was observed that original does not mean an inventive or novel thought. The work must not be copied from another work and it should originate from the author himself. And so the court held that a work which is expressed in print or writing, irrespective of whether the quality or style is high, is supposed to be original work. The mathematics examination paper in the said case was considered to be original literary work in that. Finally, there are other two cases which are worth describing right now. In Walter versus Lane, the court observed that the author must exercise his own labor and skill. The facts involved a book which was published based on articles in the Times, which were verbatim of the speech made by the person. The court relied upon the doctrine of sweat of the brow, which is followed in the United Kingdom, to hold that the book was original work of authorship. Another case worth remembering is Ladbroke versus Hill, where the football fixtures were held to be original literary work. Originality meant that work must originate from author and be result of skill, labor and judgment. Sufficient skill is required, not extra or modicum of creativity at all. Coming back to the Indian premise, Section 13 of the Indian Copyright Law, which describes the work as copyrightable subject matter, as I said, expects the author to produce original literary, dramatic, musical and artistic work, A. B. Cinematographic films as well as sound records. So it shall exclusively mention what is copyrightable subject matter as well as what is excluded from such protection. Section 40 and 41 discuss foreign works. The central government is empowered to extend Indian copyright protection to foreign works via publication in the official gazette. Countries which are listed in the International Copyright Order are countries whose works are treated as those works had they been of Indian origin. Schedule 3 lists the countries which are mentioned in the International Copyright Order. What is excluded from the subject matter requirement is ideas, procedures, methods, systems, processes, concepts, principles or discoveries and devices. Essentially, these are abstract ideas. They are not really expressions of these ideas, which is mentioned as excluded from copyright protection. The second exclusion would involve titles, names, short phrases, slogans, mere listing of ingredients and of contents. All of these would not be afforded copyrightable subject matter. Works that are not fixed in tangible medium would not constitute a fixation requirement within copyright law. So the improvised speech or performance that is not written down or otherwise recorded is not protected. Similarly, works consisting entirely of information that is commonly available and contains no originality, for example, standard calendars, or for that matter, standard measures and rulers, lists or tables which are compiled from the public documents, cannot be given copyright protection. To go on, let's study the basic tenets of what constitutes subject matter within copyright. With that, let's begin with what is literary work. Section 2(o) of the Indian Copyright Act actually does not define this term. It describes computer programs, tables, and compilations, as well as databases within the ambit of what is described as literary work in the provision. Therefore, literary works are not limited to protection or works of literature alone. It includes all works expressed in print or writing other than dramatic or musical works. What is noteworthy is, though, that the protection is not limited to words alone. It includes things such as symbols and numerals, and the scope of the subject matter as the literary work is enhanced by the fact that a work will be protected irrespective of the quality or style of creation in question. Essentially, what it means is that there is no requirement for literary merit for being afforded a copyright protection. All that is required is a standard of originality and that the work originates from the author. It must be fixed in some form in that sense. Almost every kind of written material then constitutes and satisfies and qualifies as literary work. An example would then actually also involve, say, an abridgment. An abridgment essentially is a compressed language of the abridger in comparison to an original text. Therefore, an abridgment connotes to a new book altogether, and so is afforded copyright protection as a literary work, a new one at that. So in the famous case of Macmillan and Company versus Cooper, where the appellant's book had a text consisting of passages selected from North's translation of Plutarch's Life of Alexander, with words being introduced in some places to give it a form of an unbroken narrative, North's translation actually consists of 40,000 words there. However, the text that was finally created by the appellant consisted of only 22,000 words. So the appellant alleged that a similar book published by respondents was an infringement of their copyright. However, the court held that sufficient knowledge, labor, judgment, or literary skill was not expended by the appellant to entitle him the copyright protection. Appellant's work did not amount to an abridgment, which actually should connote to a new work or new book altogether, and is to be distinguished from just mere abstracts or extracts for that matter. Similar logic would apply to something which is compilation. Like I said, an abridgment is essentially a compressed form of expression, and compilation would be an additive form. However, the Act includes compilation in the very description of literary work. So compilations which are held to be copyrightable are inclusive of, say, a directory, the arrangement of broadcasting programs, a list of registered bills of sale and deeds for arrangement, the bibliographical or biographical notes of prominent golfers published in golf manuals, manuals of classified information for use of motor car insurance, as well as football coupons. So a compilation as such is categorically mentioned as a literary work. That leads us to other questions of whether new editions of books, law reports, judicial decisions, lectures, extempore speech, or even letters constitute copyrightable work within literary works definition. New editions would be treated as good as a new version of the old book, and hence the editor will be the author of that new edition. A law report, though, would have to be attributed a literary work status only for the reporting done by that particular reporter, but the judicial decision captured within the law report belongs to the government. Judicial decisions, however, would be attributed copyright protection only to the government. It would not go back to the reporter. Interestingly, an extempore speech or a lecture would have a different standing. Before the 1994 Copyright Amendment Act, extempore speech as such was not really considered literary work. But now, after the amendment, a new right known as performer's right is actually a derivative right of a copyright has been created, which now affords protection to a person who delivers an extempore speech. So just as I am making a presentation before you, and if you take notes of my presentation, I would still retain the performer's rights to my extempore discussion with you. Next, we go on to discuss titles, names, short phrases, and slogans. Not considered literary work for a simple reason, because they cannot be copyright in such abstract phrases. In the given situation that such titles, names, or short phrases are given copyright, then in that sense, those words will have to be usurped from the public domain for a period of life plus 60 years. And therefore, the public will not be able to use such words for that longish period of time. Copyright law does not intend to do that. Hence, it was held that news as such, where the facts are reported by the newsreader or the channel, are not supposed to be owners of copyrightable matter. Facts are not copyrighted. What the news channels are given are essentially broadcasting rights, not copyright. Similarly, invented words would constitute trademark protection and not copyright law protection, because words are excluded from subject matter requirement. That having said, let's go and understand what does dramatic work mean. Section 2H of the Indian Copyright Act includes any piece of recitation, choreographic work or entertainment in dumb show, and scenic arrangement or acting, form of which is fixed in writing or otherwise. What is mentioned though is it does not include cinematographic films. Dramatic works as such just require a written script for such drama, and the protection is afforded essentially to the dramatic incidents of those dramas. But a cinematographic film, which is cinema, is not protected within dramatic work in the Indian copyright law. Cases worth describing within dramatic works would be Tate versus Fulbrook, where scenic effects taken by themselves and apart from the words and incidents of the piece are not held to be the subject of copyrightable law. Norwegian versus Arcs is an English case where dramatic work must be capable of being performed to include performances by artificial means such as playing of a film. An Indian case worth mentioning is Fortune Films International versus Devanand, where it was held that the motion picture cannot be described as a dramatic work. So Indian law as such still holds dramatic work different from cinematographic works. And finally, Green versus Broadcasting Corporation of New Zealand is one case which describes TV formats. TV formats are typically new, inventive TV programs where the dramatic work must have sufficient unity to be capable of performance, and this was lacking in a dramatic format such as Opportunity Knocks. So an Indian version of Kaun Banega Crorepati would have a similar reasoning, where TV format will not be attributed copyrightable protection for the simple reason it does not constitute dramatic work because it has to be a scripted written format, and if a TV format is supposed to be reality TV, it cannot be a scripted format in that sense. Furthermore, let's understand what is musical work. Musical work is described within Section 2P of the Act, and it means that a work consisting of music and includes any graphic notation of such work but does not include any of the words or action intended to be sung, spoken, or performed with the music. Essentially, what it requires is a written annotation. No musical work can be protected without a written notational requirement to satisfy a musical piece. A new definition is included to cover all forms of music, irrespective of it being fixed though. So what is worth pondering here is if a dramatic work may include music, then will this music be entitled to be a separate copyright, and notwithstanding that the music also forms an integral part of the dramatic work? For example, a Bollywood film has music pieces and music albums. So does a Bollywood film then constitute a cinematographic work as well as a musical work, or do they have separate rights? It's worth thinking. Let's go on to understand what artistic works are, and we will answer those questions later. Artistic works are described within Section 2C of the Act, and they describe a painting, a drawing, which includes a diagram, map, chart or a plan, an engraving or a photograph, whether or not any such work possesses artistic quality. So there is an analogy here. Similar to the literary work where we did not require any literary merit, in case of artistic work, no artistic quality is required. All that is required for copyrightable subject matter is originality. That is, this artistic work must originate from the original author of that art, that is, the artist himself. To be protectable, it should be an artistic work and should be original as defined within the Act. A sculpture, though, is a work of artistic craftsmanship, and so it requires to originate from the sculptor. Similarly, a drawing would include any diagram, chart, map or plan. So all architectural works must have those plans which will then constitute artistic works within the meaning of Section 2C of the Indian Copyright Act. Interesting study is that of photographs. Photographs as such are include any photolithograph or any work produced by any process analogous to photography. What would then constitute a photographic work as an artistic work? Say, for example, a public domain scenery has been captured by a photographer and a painting is reproduced of that photograph. Who then has the right to such painting? The photographer, the person who painted it. So whether it is an artistic work or whether it is a photographic work, that is, whether it can be described within the artistic work of Section 2C is worth understanding. Interesting cases that can be taken account of within this description of photography is Bauman versus Fussell, which is a 1978 case, not so old, where the photograph of a bird fight was held to be not original enough, and hence a painting based on such a photograph was held to be not an infringement. Interesting question again was addressed by Associated Publishers with Basham. This is an Indian case where the Madras High Court in 1964 discusses photography as an artistic work, where the portrait based on photographs will be entitled to copyright if it produces a different result from the photographs and is therefore attributed as an original artistic work status. Then let's discuss other artistic works which include paintings. Paintings seem to be an obvious artistic work. So a painting is an artistic work whether it possesses any artistic quality or not. Similarly, drawing. However, a drawing is an art of representing by line, which is delineation without color or with a single color, and therefore drawing is the noun or the product of such an art. So as per the definition, a drawing would include any diagram, chart or map or plan, and this would safeguard the functional aspect of the work, such as drawings for engineering equipment or even in the present day age what is known as circuit diagrams, and circuit diagrams are therefore considered to be artistic works within copyright law. The case worth mentioning here is the 1974 case of the British Northrop versus Tex Team Blackburn, where a straight line drawn with the help of a ruler was considered to be not a drawing and therefore not afforded artistic work protection. However, one must be a little cautious about and a little slow in excluding drawings from copyrightability, because what is artistic work if not a drawing first? And therefore, a mere score of simplicity should not dismiss drawing within the domain of artistic works as such. Let's understand what cinematographic works are. Cinematographic works originate from the word cinema, and it is described within Section 2F of the Copyright Act, which explains that any work of visual recording on any medium produced through a process from which a moving image may be produced by any means and includes a sound recording, accompanying such visual recording is a cinematographic work. So is this e-tutorial that I am conducting a cinematographic work for you? Does a remake of, say, a foreign language film enjoy the same protection as the original version of the film? Section 2F would not differentiate between a remake of a foreign film if it is an authorized remake. Hence, a foreign language film then reconstituted as a remake would be treated as a new work within the copyright law, and that too a cinematographic work at that. Let's understand what sound recordings are. Sound recordings are different from musical works though. The section defines sound recording as recordings of sounds from which such sounds may be produced regardless of the medium on which such recording is made or the method by which the sounds are produced. So for example, if a channel such as National Geographic actually records bird sounds, then such recording will be afforded sound recording protection within copyright law. However, such recording might not constitute a musical work because they do not have written notations. To ponder, does the audio recording of this e-tutorial again qualify for separate protection as a sound recording? Or can you separate the audio recording, which forms an essential part of this audiovisual as a whole, and then segregate and afford sound recording protection to the visual, to the audio part, while the visual part will be afforded, say, a dramatic work or a performance right to me? These are certain foods for thought for you. So, does a photograph of an already existing photograph enjoy copyright protection? That is, if I take a selfie of my own photograph, if I take a photograph of another photograph on the wall, would that new photograph that I have taken be afforded the same protection as the original photograph? The answer is no. Is a painting based on a scenery captured in a photograph an infringement of copyright in the photograph? Essentially, they would constitute different works because they do not originate from the same author. Are sets of machine-made replicas of the Taj Mahal sold as decor items capable of being protected as works of artistic craftsmanship? The answer is no, because any machine-made replicas do not constitute artistic works within the meaning of copyright law. So that was essentially a description of subject matter requirement within Indian copyright law. Dear students, so we had an interesting module discussion on the subject matter requirement of copyright law. Let's summarize what we've learned so far. We began with the legal provisions of what attributes subject matter requirement. And we began with identifying Section 13A of the Indian Copyright Act describes copyrightable subject matter as being works which are literary, dramatic, musical, artistic, as well as cinematographic or sound recording works. However, we went on to identify that just mere work is not protected as subject matter. There are qualifications for such, and these two qualifications are the originality requirement and the idea that these expressions ought to be expressed in a fixed medium or tangible form. So originality in that sense is then understood further that it does not require to be attributed or analogous to novelty concept within patent law, but is essentially meaning simply that it has to originate from the author. Then on, we understood about the works such as literary works. Not all literary works were understood to be protectable. However, if they are original, then such literary work can be protected. There is no literary merit required for such protection. Therefore, an original work can be protected as literary work. Similarly, an abridgment or a new edition or even a compilation of that original book becomes a literary work within the meaning of copyright law. Similar analogy we found was extended to artistic works. Artistic works would go beyond the traditional concepts of drawings and paintings, but include circuit diagrams, would include photography, would include paintings, and therefore would require to be extensively understood as not being just drawing or painting. Finally, we understood about musical works and sound recordings, again being different sorts of works within the subject matter requirement. Musical works would require notations and written down annotations of what is the musical note as such. Sound recording does not require the same standard. So this e-tutorial, an audio recording of this would constitute essentially a sound recording and not a musical work. And so a Bollywood film would have separate protection as musical work as well as cinematographic works. Cinematographic works are protection given to cinema. However, artistic works or dramatic works do not constitute cinematographic works. Let's understand the dramatic works a little bit more. Dramatic works would include any sort of dramatic incidents, say it's a recitation, a pantomime, a poetry, as long as it has dramatic incidents and those dramatic incidents are scripted. And essentially a point to be taken home is the developing reality TV media these times. They are essentially coming back to becoming derivative rights and not copyrightable work, in a sense where TV formats which are non-scripted are not protected as literary, dramatic, or even any other form of protection within 13A of the Copyright Act of India. So there we covered all possible works within 13A, as long as they are original, fixed intangible medium, can then be afforded a life plus 60 years of protection within copyright law. After which, in the event that such term has expired, that work falls back into the public domain for any person to use it, to sell it, to enjoy it, without having to take permission of the author. Thank you very much.